ruthless maniac is out hunting. Can the psychic stop the serial killer? Don't miss out. The clairvoyants will come to the den of the beast. Welcome to Psychic Investigations, a channel of true, shocking stories. People who call themselves clairvoyants unravel mysterious paranormal phenomena and solve resonant criminal cases. Terrified residents of one of the Ukrainian towns are asking the psychics for help. The people want the clairvoyants to investigate the murder of a 13-year-old boy. All his neighbors knew and liked Stas Bóyko. But somebody knocked the boy on his head, strangled and undressed him, and then threw the body into a river.
He was buried on his 14th birthday.
The tragedy occurred during the summer vacation. Stas left his home at midday, telling his mom he was going to see his friend Vlad. However, he never made it there. When the boy didn't come back home when he was supposed to, his mother started dialing his mobile. But the phone was off. The family got worried. All the neighborhood went to search for the boy.
2 local fishermen found the boy's body in the river the next day.
I saw it over there where the stick is sticking out. There was a human body floating.
The teenage boy's skull was broken in several places, and there was a trace of a rope on his neck. The forensics concluded that Stas died in the afternoon of the same day he disappeared.
The boy's clothes were never found. The police searched the area around the river but didn't find anything.
Most likely, the killer took the victim's clothes because he thought there might be biological traces on them.
But who and why murdered the 13-year-old boy? Where did Stas meet his murderer? And how did his body end up in the river 5 kilometers away from his home?
The local investigators passed the case onto the regional prosecutor's office. It is very strange. As a rule, highly important cases, such as those involving serial killers or pedophile maniacs, go further.
2 of the most powerful psychics of the project, Kayal Alekperov and Yana Pasinkova, take up the investigation into Stas Bóyko's death.
I see 2 girls. They look alike, like they're sisters. They have fair hair and pretty faces. One of them says, "Find 2 masks." One of them cries, and the other laughs. The murderer hides behind them.
I feel the smell of burning, like a bonfire. The murderer could possibly be connected with fire.
My gins are also showing me fire, and in it, there's the burning letter B. Or it might be the Cyrillic V. Is it possible that the murderer's name begins with it?
Stas's mother and aunt, whose name is also Oksana, are waiting in front of the house in which the boy lived. Their neighbors are also there.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello? Thank you for coming. I want to know who killed my son and why they did it.
Stas. He's pulling you by your coat like this. Mom, I wasn't supposed to pass away. You can't live without me. I know it's hard for you.
Stas was the eldest among the 6 children in the family. His father is always at work, so the boy was his mother's right hand.
He always tried to help.
He said, "I want my mom and dad to be proud of me." And he always did everything. He helped her a lot.
The entire town was shocked to learn of the boy's death. His mother even developed problems with the skin of her face because of the stress. People can't understand who and why murdered the 13-year-old teenager so brutally.
A man takes something from him, and I hear a phrase, "If I lose it, Mom's going to kill me."
He took my phone. My husband bought it for me as a present.
The attacker took away the phone from your son, but it wasn't his main goal. I can't see his true motive yet. Yana, we need to see the place where Stas's body was found. The boy was still alive when he was here. He was murdered right in this place. The man, the murderer, had been watching him from the moment he left home, and then he knocked him on his head. He strangles the boy, undresses him, and throws his body in the river. And he takes boy's clothes away. To know who and why killed Stas, we needed to contact the boy's spirit.
The kitten appeared out of nowhere. It was so unexpected. Nobody knew where it came from.
I'm still astonished.
This is the boy's soul. The spirit is showing me the murderer. It's a man of average height. He's short-haired, and his hairline is receding. And now your son's spirit says, look, I'm not alone. There's one more spirit. It's a young woman.
There was a young woman of 21 who was killed a month before Stas.
During the Kupala night.
Dasha was murdered first, and then was Stas.
It's horrifying. Another bloody murder in such a short period of time.
Yana, Dasha is pointing at her head. She was murdered in the same manner as Stas. She was knocked on her head.
Yes, but she wasn't strangled. That's the only difference.
The young woman's name was Dasha Ozarko. A month before her death, she graduated from a college and started working at one of the banks in the town. On the day of her murder, Dasha, Alla, and Alla's boyfriend went to the park to celebrate the Kupala night.
We went there at about 8 in the evening. We stopped to talk to the people we knew, but most of the time there were just 3 of us.
Alla, as far as I understand, you and Dasha separated before she was attacked.
I went to dance to the last song, but when I came back, Dasha was nowhere to be found. I dialed her, and we heard her phone ringing.
Dasha's phone ringtone came from the bushes.
I didn't recognize her immediately because she was all bloodied. The clothes, I only recognized her by the clothes.
According to Alla, she and her boyfriend found Dasha's body on the side of the path, along which people were walking. Given the fact that her mobile wasn't stolen, the investigators rejected the version of a robbery.
As the examination further revealed, Dasha hadn't been raped either. The motive for the murder still remains unknown. Who and why took the life of the young woman?
Now your son's spirit is mentioning a secret. The secret connects Stas and Dasha.
He knew her, and he saw her when she was alive.
I can't tell it.
Wait. Stas's spirit is showing me another young woman. She's also dead. She looks very much like Dasha. Has anybody else been murdered in this town recently?
I don't know.
To find the murderer, we needed to know who the 3rd victim was, and what secret connected Dasha and Stas.
We need to meet Dasha's family.
It turned out that Dasha lived some 500 meters from the park where she was murdered.
I am Alexander, Dasha's father.
Give me Dasha's photo, please. Tell me, do you know what could connect Dasha and Stas?
The age gap between them was big enough. He was 13 while she was 21.
It was the Kupala night celebration. There were plenty of people there, and most of them were young, so I assumed that Dasha could meet Stas at the celebration.
When we mentioned that Dasha had been murdered, Stas said, "Mom, I was there." And then he suddenly went silent and didn't say anything else. After that, he tried to avoid this topic.
The card of the victim and the card of the witness. He didn't simply see Dasha at the celebration. He saw her being murdered.
This is shocking. Is it possible that Stas was killed as a witness to the young woman's murder?
When we know who killed Dasha, we will know Stas's murderer. We must go to the site where Dasha was murdered.
It's not far from here.
I hear the voice of another young woman who I'd seen in the same vision as Dasha. She keeps saying, "Find 2 masks." One of them laughs and the other cries. The murderer hides behind them. And now she says, she'll show us the masks.
Yana Pasinkova goes to the site of Dasha's murder. Khayal Alekperov goes where his feelings are leading him.
We need to turn left and then right.
The psychic stops the van next to a building.
The masks are supposed to be here, but where are they?
The building seems to be in the process of renovation, but what are the masks supposed to be?
Excuse me, tell me please, what kind of building is it, and were there any masks in it?
Yes, they were. It's a house of culture.
It's incredible, but we found the photos of the House of Culture before the renovation. There was an old bas-relief of 2 theater masks standing for tragedy and comedy on its facade.
We need to go there. The spirit is showing this way.
The psychic dives into the shrub. We are scared, but we still go after him. The clairvoyant stops at an abandoned building.
Look at the signature here.
You will find your death here, if you believe in God.
It was written by the murderer. This is his hiding place.
It later turned out that this is the building of an abandoned children's summer camp. According to the psychic, Dasha and Stas's murderer visited this place. But why did he do it? And who is he? Meanwhile, Yana Pasinkova reaches the site of Dasha's murder.
A man did this. He's a beast. He knocks her with something he holds in his hand. You can find this thing anywhere. It's something heavy.
A stone?
Blood pours out of her head.
The murderer is connected to occultism. My book says both victims were murdered at big Christian feasts.
Dasha was murdered early on the 7th of July and Stas on the 2nd of August. The 7th of July is the birthday of John the Baptist, and the 2nd of August is the day of a biblical prophet Elijah.
These were ritual murders.
It's unbelievable. Does this mean that the maniac is also a religious fanatic? But who is he, and where can he be found?
The young woman's spirit is pointing at the 2nd floor. Can we climb there?
We held our breath. However, it was impossible to climb to the attic, as there were neither stairs nor a ladder anywhere near.
What is this noise?
Everyone is seriously scared. We're in the woods, and it's dark. Who's making the noise? Is anybody else also here?
Look, a ladder. The woman's spirit gave me the sign to climb there. Put the ladder over here. I felt there was a clue in the attic. The murderer had left there something that could help us identify him.
Did you hurt your leg?
Help me get up. It hurts a lot.
Somebody shoved the ladder. The moment it fell, I saw a sturdy, gray-haired man. He looked like he was burning in flames. I didn't know who he was, but it was he who pushed the ladder to not let me climb in there. I don't feel well. I see terrifying visions of what the murderer saw. This is awful. There are more victims than we think.
Do you mean we're at the maniac's den?
I saw the man make sacrifice to the element of fire. The maniac was burning the clothes of his victims. It was the clue.
I was consulting the cards at the site of Dasha's murder, and I kept getting the card of the person obsessed with the idea of revenge. But who was the target of his revenge, and for what purpose?
I decided not to attempt climbing to the attic anymore, not to put the crew at threat. It would be better if the police searched the place during the day. The woman's spirit is showing me a white cross against a purple background. She says it has all the answers. It's connected with religion. I'll try to draw it.
The crew immediately send a picture to the project's detective. It's possible she can find out what the symbol means. Kayal calls his colleague.
Yana, these were ritual murders, and the victims are more than 3, and the unknown young woman whose spirit visited me together with the spirits of the boy and Dasha is also his victim. She died first, and the murderer has been punished for it. He started his bloody path about 20 or 25 years ago. Yana, I'm sorry, I've got another call. Don't hang up.
What you drew is the symbol of Seventh-day Adventists.
Is there church anywhere in the town?
Yes, I found the address.
Thank you.
The clairvoyants arrive at the address, but the door's locked.
I feel the murderer's energy in this building. He used to live here. He's a stranger in your town. He was invited by somebody who frequently visits this place, and the Ukrainian woman, the first victim, she wasn't local either. She was from a different region.
Nobody knows.
The murderer is obsessed with fire. He burned something all the time. And if he didn't burn the clothes of his victims, he hid them in his den. We can't even imagine how many lives the beast has taken away. I've just had a vision of another dead boy. He was local, he had dark hair, and was of the same age as Stas.
This is the 12-year-old Ilya Makarov. The boy used to live not far from the church, with which, according to the clairvoyants, the murderer is connected. Ilya Makarov disappeared on the 22nd of May, 2016.
It's unbelievable, but the 22nd of May is another Christian feast, Nicholas the Wonder Worker's Day.
But why is he killing children and teenagers on Christian feasts? Who doesn't like Christians? Pagans. And then I realized that the sturdy gray-haired man in the flames who prevented me from climbing to the den's attic was one of the pagan gods. The pagans believed Dazbog and Svarog to be the most powerful among their gods. They are the gods of the sun and celestial fire. These gods don't want us to stop the murderer because the maniac makes sacrifices to honor them.
He won't stop killing.
I found the contact information of the pastor. He must know all his parishioners.
The murderer is a man of the average height. He's short-haired and his hairline is receding. His name starts with B or V.
When Katerina described the man we were looking for, the pastor recalled a man named Volodymyr.
How did you meet Volodymyr?
I pay visits to the penal colony, where I give services and bring people the word of God. Volodymyr was among the inmates.
Serhiy says that Volodymyr was imprisoned for a murder.
Who did he murder?
It was his third sentence. Volodymyr killed a girl, a university student.
The man's 2 previous sentences were for a robbery and an arson, and the third time he went to prison for the murder of a university student from other town. Her name was Ruslana. The beast broke her head, just like he did with Stas and Dasha.
At that moment, I thought it was the young woman Kyle Alekperov constantly mentioned.
In total, Volodymyr spent 25 years of his life in prison, and he was released recently.
How come Volodymyr settled to live in your church after the release?
I asked the church's elders if he could stay and guard the building. They gave their permission. And so he settled here.
Serhiy confesses that after the release, Volodymyr changed dramatically. He was cheerful and calm in prison, but once he was free, his behavior became strange.
Then we began seeing bonfires over the fence. Somebody was burning some bed sheets and clothes, and the smoke was acrid. And then we realized it was he. I had never met anybody like him before. He believes in Dasbog. You know, all this paganism and idol worshipping. In the past, people used to worship Dasbog and make sacrifices to him.
Serhiy says that Volodymyr was a fanatical pagan, and he even preached his faith in the Seventh-day Adventists church. As a result, he was eventually expelled.
Did he live in the town?
There's an abandoned building in the city where homeless people hang out. He was there.
It looks like it could be the place that Kayal Alekperov found.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We didn't even think to connect all those murders.
Later, the investigators found Volodymyr's belongings in the attic of the abandoned building found by Kayal Alekperov. They also found the clothes of Dasha, Stas, and Ilya Makarov. In the Maniac's den, the investigators also found a calendar in which Volodymyr marked several dates. These were the days when the victims disappeared. The Maniac was arrested.
After the investigation by the psychics, the prosecutor's office of this region expressed gratitude to our project. If you're impressed by the story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Many more impressive investigations are coming up. Impressive.